I decided that it was going to be the year that I will be open to a lot of opportunities that come towards me. I'm going to say yes to everything, and I will just trust the universe, or trust that things will happen, or good things will happen to me, that kind of thing. So that has become my mindset from leaving the hospital job that I was in before. I was one of those people who got burnt out in the pandemic, and I just didn't want to be a nurse anymore. But after 6 months of taking a break from the profession, I found myself back in a hospital, and this time it was through travel nursing. So if you don't know what travel nursing is, it's basically when a nurse like me fly out to different city, state, or even country in order to fill the hospital needs for nurses. So one of the videos that I made at this time was actually having a nurse identity crisis. I didn't know whether I wanted to be a nurse or do all of these creative things full time. So I decided to do travel nursing to see if that was going to be the farewell to the profession. So that was my initial thought when I went into it. I decided to pursue travel nursing because I basically didn't want to have any regrets. So I thought that this was going to be my last try with this profession, and if I don't like it, then I would actually do my writing and creative endeavors full time. But the universe had a different plan for me. So in this video, I would like to share the highlights and ups and downs of the past year of what I've gone through so far, with the hopes to inspire you. Because I truly believe that you can change your life in 1 year. So around November of this year, I actually decided to leave my job, and right now it's November 2022. So last year, November 2021, and I decided to take YouTube more seriously. So I learned how to film, script, and edit videos. I started taking the Skillshare class by Ali Abdal on Skillshare of how to learn the Final Cut Pro. So that's what I used to learn how to edit videos. Besides the YouTube, I also started working on myself. So I started figuring out the thoughts that I was having and what are the things that was limiting me. So I wanted to develop an abundance mindset, and if you don't know what that means, that basically means believing that there is enough for everyone, that there is enough money, enough opportunities, enough everything inside the world, because oftentimes we're kind of conditioned to believe that there's not enough, that we have to compete, we have to struggle, and all of that. So I wanted to cultivate that mindset where I believe that there's enough for things, so that I'm not acting out of fear or acting out of not insecure in my actions. So that really helped me ground to not go back to my nursing job. In the next month, December, my husband and I decided to fly to Mexico because it was kind of a break that I needed from the whole pandemic. I think it was my first vacation in 2 years after the pandemic happened, and it was just kind of a break. At this time, I was actually trying so hard not to think about nursing because I had these feelings of regrets of leaving, and I just really didn't like it. But luckily, I had YouTube and my freelance writing to keep me busy. It was winter time also in Canada, and I wasn't used to being at home all the time and staying. I like moving, I like going out. So nursing was kind of perfect for me in that sense because I'm always moving around, and being at home stuck with these good opportunities, you know, freelance writing and doing YouTube. I was grateful for it, but also I was craving something else. So that's when the strong feelings of regret has started to come. So my husband and I decided to book a flight for the next month to Punta Cana. Around February, I decided that I was going to take YouTube even more seriously now that I was publishing once a week or maybe 3 times a month. And I decided to take the course by Ali Abdal. It's called the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, or PTYA, where basically they teach you how to grow a YouTube channel from scratch. And I'm not gonna get into the details or reviews, but just wanted to tell you that I took that course. So around this time, I became consistent in producing 1 video per week. I was learning how to systemize my process when it comes to producing videos on YouTube, and also I was working with Slow Growth Academy, a company made by Matt Davella and also Gumroad. If you didn't know, Gumroad is a platform for creators. So that was really cool experience for me to have, even though I was still confused about my nursing profession. So around March, I decided to go to Dominican Republic to visit my childhood friends. I spent a good portion of my childhood in the Dominican Republic, about 3 years, and I made some friends, so we still keep in touch up to this day. And visiting that place really healed my soul, I feel, because I just went back and I realized how much I've grown and also how far I've come. So even though I was in a situation where I feel like, you know what, I am so confused about my life, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where my career is going to take me, just going back to where I came from really helped me ground and almost gave me a sense of gratefulness for what I was going through. And I realized that people around me always have it worse than me, so I shouldn't be complaining too much about my situation, because I was in a really good place financially and physically, because I was healthy and etc. So around this time, I also decided that I was no longer going to be doing freelancing, because one, it wasn't working for me. I wasn't enjoying the day-to-day tasks of what I was doing with these 2 clients that I was serving. And for the second client, they actually did not have any more work for me, so they said, you know, we don't need a freelance writer anymore. So then that just kind of crushed my soul, but at the same time it was kind of like, okay, I don't think full-time freelance writing at least is not for me. Okay, so this is also the time where something is happening around the nursing profession. Around this time, a recruiter from Indeed actually reached out to me saying that they had a nursing opportunity for me of around in a city that was 3 hours from Toronto. So it was a place called Kingston. So I did the interview and they offered to pay $40 per hour, which for the nursing standard, it's high, because at the time I think I was getting paid about $35, $36 as a nurse. So $40 was $4 more per hour. But I was in a place where, you know, if I don't take this job, it wouldn't affect me that much. So I was actually pushing myself out of my comfort zone, learning how to negotiate better. So I asked for $50 per hour, accommodations included, etc. So they actually agreed to that rate. So I decided, you know what, nothing else is going on in my life. Let me just try it out and see whether I like this opportunity anyway. So after coming back from Dominican, it is now around April, and after a week of staying home, I traveled all the way to Kingston and tried out travel nursing for the very first time by myself. So I stayed in a hotel for the 4-week of that assignment, and I actually ended up loving it. I really liked the different environment that I was in. I was not in an emergency ward, which is what my specialty is. I was actually in a mental health unit, which I have experience in, and I ended up liking the experience. I liked the treatment of the staff toward me, because as an agency nurse, you're there to help the staff, so they're more grateful for your presence. Obviously, you'll meet some nurses who are like snobbish and they don't like you, but you don't take it personally. I ended up liking that experience, so I decided that maybe I'll do another assignment. Anyway, so what I loved about this whole experience was that I was traveling in a new city, and obviously, or of course, travel is my first passion. So that was a really cool thing about this whole experience. And secondly, I was getting paid more. And thirdly, I was traveling on my days off. Yeah, so I was basically visiting the town on my days off, and then also doing my writing and creative work on my downtime. So I was finding a really good balance when it comes to doing nursing, something I'm already comfortable with, and creative endeavors, something I'm not super comfortable with, but really pushes me out of my comfort zone. So around May, I decided, after my 4-week contract, my husband and I decided to visit Montreal, which is about 2 hours from that city. So we did a little bit more traveling and we stayed with our family, spent some time there. Nothing much is going on. We just decided that we would chill and spend time with family. And at this time, I was also doing more YouTube stuff. So I actually filmed content there and just produce some videos. So after spending about 3 weeks in Montreal, we actually decided to go back home. But before I went back home, I actually reached out to the travel nursing agency that I worked at and see if I can do another week of an assignment before we went back home, because I thought it was a really good experience. Free accommodation, more money, why not? So we decided to do that. My husband stayed with me this time in the hotel I was staying in, and and it's one of like the best experiences, but I feel like I'm gonna say that a lot in this video. This time in June, I was also in contact with a different nursing agency because I wanted to experience it outside of the city or not driving distance. So I decided to go up north because I've heard really good stuff about up north from my colleagues, my friends, my old co-workers, and they go there often. So I thought there must be something I'm missing there. So I decided to do a 2.5 week contract in Northern Ontario. I actually made a video about it as well, and I went there. Really rough experience, and I really thought, I was like, okay, this is it, this is the last thing that I'm gonna do in nursing. And then mostly because of the way that you get there, very rough. You fly from Toronto to a place called Timmins, and then you have to stay there overnight, and then from there you have to take a charter plane the very next day, and then it's a whole journey. It was rough to get there for someone like me who's tiny petite girl, and it was terrifying, not gonna lie. However, the work there was amazing. I got to know a different side of nursing, the community side of nursing. I've never worked as a community nurse before, but I kind of assumed that this is how it feels like, and also primary care nursing, so dealing with more community, like I said, and I actually ended up enjoying it. I ended up liking the work. I ended up liking the people that I was working with. I was learning a lot in such a short period of time because I was only there for 2.5 weeks, and you basically get 1 day orientation and basically figure things out by yourself. So I really like the challenge. I like the problem solving. I like the pace of it, where you can focus on one patient, but because the volume is so low, you can really get to know them and you can figure out what's going on with them. Nothing is truly almost an emergency, except for the times that there's truly an emergency. So around this month in June, I wasn't figuring things out anymore. I was just going with the flow. I decided that it was going to be the year that I will be open to a lot of opportunities that come towards me. I'm going to say yes to everything, and I will just trust the universe, or trust that things will happen, or good things will happen to me, that kind of thing. So that has become my mindset from leaving the hospital job that I was in before. So after my travel nursing assignment in July, we decided to fly out to Spain and Portugal. It has been my dream to go to Spain for a very long time, and it's always been my dream to kind of live there. But because we can't go and live there yet, we decided to just go visit it and see if it's even a place for me, because I've never been there. I just like the idea of it. So we visited 5 cities, Barcelona, Seville, Madrid, Porto, Lisbon, and Portugal, and ended up loving the whole experience. I thought that I could totally see myself living there, especially in Madrid. That was one of my favorite cities to go to, and I want to work towards that. I want to work towards being able to live there without worrying about my financial situation, and that's kind of the dream that I want. So around the time that I was traveling in Spain, that was the time I realized that you can actually make your dreams slowly come true, which is what the video I made about, because for me, living in Spain meant being successful already, and I had a different image of what that success looked like in my head. In my head, I was already a big creator, and I was making tons of money. I have a business, etc., and all of that, and it was preventing myself from going there without those things. So I learned that no, you know what, I'm going to see Spain even for a little bit, and then see if it's for me, and then if it is, then I will go back and live my full dream there later. But this time I kind of got a sneak peek of my dream, so that was really nice. So we went to Spain July and August, and around August it was more of a chill month of just relaxing, soaking in everything that's been happening. And around this time in August, I decided to work with another nursing agency, but this time it's an agency that sends nurses to private dental offices, something I did not know that existed while I was in nursing school and even when I was a nurse. So basically these are nurses who go into dental surgery. So if you have, let's say, need to get your wisdom teeth taken out, some children or adults aren't able to do it while they're awake, so they would need some sort of sedation, and it would be the nurse's job to put an IV on this patient, to recover them, to monitor their vital signs, to push the drugs while they're in the procedure sometimes. So that is something that I was getting into as well around this month, August and September, and I decided that it was going to be the job that I was going to have while I was not doing travel nursing and while I was doing my creative stuff at home. September was a bit of a vacation as well, and just kind of a chill month around this time. My husband and I were invited to visit Los Angeles and San Diego with his family, so that's what we did. We spent about a week in those two cities, and then we came back to Toronto, where I just kind of caught up with friends and do dental nursing once a week. And then I also decided to pick up on a new hobby. I decided to pick up on kickboxing because I was getting bored of the gym. I can't be consistent at the gym. I can't push myself to go to the gym. So I decided that I was going to find a class that I like, which became kickboxing, and I ended up really liking it. I think it's a cool sport to experience, but yeah, I definitely recommend that. At this time, my creative endeavors are suffering. I haven't been writing a lot. I haven't been doing YouTube a lot, and because I was living life essentially. October, that was last month, I decided to go to do another travel nursing contract up north, but it's in a different community this time, and I decided to stay there for 1 whole month. And I thought it was going to be long. It was amazing. Again, like my previous experience, it was a very similar structure, so I kind of already knew what I was getting into this time, so I decided to stay longer. And then I ended up meeting a lot of people, new people, similar mindsets, similar values, interests, things like that, and I just ended up really having a good time. It felt more like a vacation than work, but also I was working a lot. So going up north was really good for me because this is the time where I experienced the feeling of I don't want to leave nursing just yet. I want to kind of keep exploring what is it out there for me. So I decided that I was going to keep doing travel nursing until I no longer can, and then see where that leads me. And that was a really good kind of epiphany for me, because I just had that question for a very long time of like, do I leave this profession or do I keep going in it, even though it doesn't seem like it's for me in the long run. This month, November, which is the last month we're in right now, so it has been a whole year. It also is my birthday month, so I get excited around November. And this is cool because a new opportunity came for me. It was very random. One creator tech startup called Passion Fruit. They are a tech company that is serving creators, which are the audience that I really hope to serve, because I know how being a creator feels like, and I can relate to most, because I feel like a lot of us want to be creators, but we don't have the courage or the push that we have or that we need. So I wanted to be part of the company that shared that mission. Anyway, so they reached out to me asking if I wanted to be their freelance writer, and they only needed someone part-time, someone who can do 1 day a week. And so far, the things that I've been doing with them have been really interesting. I get to basically do the things that I already love, which is writing, listening to podcasts, doing research of other people who are doing well in the space of creator economy, and doing it consistently. So I don't have to go through the process of reaching out to clients and then getting paid and then creating a contract for, a certain period of time. This time it's a bit more part-time / casual arrangement, which is something that I was looking forward to, and and it's fully remote, which is why I started this whole journey in the first place. So that is where I'm at right now. So I'm basically doing travel nursing whenever I want and doing the dental nursing if I need some cash along the way. And then I also have this creative job that I've been wanting for a very long time. And then I'm just doing the things that I love on the side, like traveling and writing. So that has been my full year. I really hope that this wasn't too long and that you found some gems and insight while I was telling my experience. I hope that this really inspires you to do something, because I'm telling you, you can do so much in 1 year. You can do a lot in 1 year. And I hope that this video resonated with you and that you be kind to yourself and you take it one day at a time. Bye.